Charles Phillip Ingalls was the father of Laura Ingalls Wilder, known for her Little House on the Prairie series of books. Ingalls is depicted as the character Pa in the television series. Biography. For information on the relatives, see List of real-life individuals from Little House on the Prairie. Ingalls was the second of 9 children of Lansford Whiting Ingalls and Laura Louise Colby Ingalls, both of whom appear in the book Little House in the Big Woods. Lansford was born in Canada. Laura was born in Vermont and was a descendant of Edmund Rice, an early immigrant to Massachusetts Bay Colony. Lansford's mother was Margaret Delano, of the famed Delano family, and was a descendant of Mayflower passenger Richard Warren. In the 1840s, when Ingalls was a young boy, his family moved from New York to the tallgrass prairie of Campton Township, just west of Elgin, Illinois. Charles grew into a high-spirited, outgoing man, with a love of music and reading, as well as becoming an accomplished hunter-trapper, carpenter and farmer. On February 1, 1860, Charles Ingalls married a neighbor, the quiet and proper Caroline Quinner. They had 5 children, Mary, Laura, Carrie, Charles Frederick Freddie, and Grace. Freddie died as an infant. For his entire life Ingalls had a strong case of wanderlust. He is quoted by Laura in her Little House series of books as saying, "My wandering foot gets to itching." He loved traveling and didn't like living among big crowds of people, so with his family in the early years of his marriage, he traveled a great deal and often changed homes. From their original home in the woods of Wisconsin, he moved his family to Indian Territory and southeastern Kansas, then back to Wisconsin, then to southern Minnesota, then for a year to Burr Oak, Iowa, then back to Minnesota. Presented with a job opportunity in Dakota Territory, he longed to move yet again, as the family was struggling financially in Minnesota. Caroline agreed, but extracted a promise from her husband that this would be their last move. She was not only tired of moving from place to place herself but, as a former schoolteacher herself, she also feared her children would never get a proper education unless the family put down roots somewhere. Ingalls agreed, and the family settled down for good in DeSmet, South Dakota. He stayed with farming in DeSmet for several years, but after he had proved up on his claim, he sold the farm and built a home on 3rd Street in DeSmet, where he lived out the rest of his days. He held various elected positions in the town, including Justice of the Peace and Deputy Sheriff. He also operated a retail store in DeSmet for a few years and lastly, sold insurance. He died on June 8, 1902, of heart disease, at the age of 66. He was buried at DeSmet Cemetery. Ingalls helped organize and was an active member of the Congregational Church in DeSmet. He was a Freemason, and was given Masonic rites at his funeral. In the media, Ingalls has been portrayed in adaptations of Little House on the Prairie by Shasari Nakamura in Laura, the Prairie Girl Japanese cartoon series, Michael Landon in the television series Little House on the Prairie and its movie sequels, Matthew Laborto as a young Charles in the 3rd season episode Journey in the Spring, and the 4th season episode I Remember of the television series, Richard Thomas in both Beyond the Prairie, The True Story of Laura Ingalls Wilder films, Cameron Bancroft in the miniseries Little House on the Prairie, Steve Blanchard in the musical. References. Picture of Charles Ingalls Homestead Land Grant, external links. Charles Phillip Ingalls at Find a Grave.